Hello, everyone. Happy new moon in Taurus. I'm setting this video, this energy for that day. So, yes, all right. Definitely click like. Share this video if you find anything that I'm saying very informative. I'm going to focus on some of the aspects that I think should be focused on in my interpretation of it, as is astrology. So I hope that you guys find this useful. I enjoyed the full moon video that I did, and I hope you guys enjoy this. I got a lot of good feedback on the full moon in Libra video that I did on the astrology reading. So thank you for that. And here we go. So April 22nd is going to be the new moon in Taurus, moving out of clicking back. It was in Aries for 3 days. It's in Aries on the 20th, the 21st, and the 22nd, and then by 12:36, it turns into Taurus. Okay, so that's like noontime. Okay, it turns into a Taurus moon, and then the high peak of that moon is at 7:25 Pacific Standard Time, which is about 4:25 Eastern Standard Time. Okay, so from my notes, it's the moon is going to be 3 degrees and 23 minutes. So how do you use that? You can use the minutes as 23 minutes to do your meditation. Some people like to do a longer meditation. Once you get out of the mind of meditation or focus or ritual, right? Because this is my tarot channel. So whatever your practice is going to be, you are going to plan it ahead of time, write down notes from watching this video and say, what do I want to focus on? What's going on in my life right now? And how can I use the energy of the moon to really help me find some kind of positivity, overcome, right? What I'm going through, right? The new moon is new beginnings. It's like you're planting a seed, right? It's kind of like they use the term planting a seed for those who don't know, but I'm sure a lot of you don't get it. Farming, right? They actually farmers. If you get the almanac, which I should have made a video already. I said I was going to make a video. I'm going to make a video just talking about it, and it'll be a long video, but I think it'll be really informative to some people. Just flipping through the pages and talking about, like do my notes. I'll do that because I don't know. I think whenever I want to purchase a book, I like to see people do a full review and have a conversation and see how they use the book. Okay, sidebar. So basically, the new moon, you want to set your new intention and see from the new moon till the full moon what happened. Did the way I planned it to manifest, did it go about right? I hope so. I hope people aren't walking over there too much with their kids, and then I have the horses over there. Okay. I'm like, please, no one make noise. I'm doing my video. It's sunset. The sun's going down. It's beautiful. The sun is like right there in my face. I love it. Okay, so people will plant by the moon. That was my point earlier, is that people will plant certain type of crops based on the cycle of the moon. So when you're applying this energetically in the real world, right, and also spiritually, it does work. Okay, and if you're here for that, then you got it. So think about 3 as the combination of creation, right? Just the aspect of 2 forms of energy creating another, and think of it as things happen in 3 because there is like this triangle effect in a sense, right? And you can zone in on that energy, and if you think of a pyramid, like if you own a pyramid, or even if you don't have one, you can have that visualization of pulling down energy in, right? So that's how I would interpret the 3, and then whatever other meanings you can look up for the numerology of what 3 means. Okay, so it would be a time to really click into that creative. That's a 1, creative, and it's a creative energy. That's how I like to think of 3, and it's very optimistic as well, right? And it's also very expressive. So the high peak of the moon is happening at 7:25 p.m. 2020 it's in the afternoons, in the PM, okay? And in my little notes I didn't even put PM, but it is in the PM. Okay, so 7:25 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and 4:25 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then you can do the math for where you live. But this Taurus moon is the Earth energy, okay, and Geminis can tap into that as well. And it's very important to know that whatever your zodiac sign is, if you are born close to another sign, then you can tap into that other sign's energy as well. Okay, very important. All right. And it's very important to know where your Venus is and tap into that energy at the full moon as well. Know where the Mercury is, the Jupiter, but I'm only going to focus on certain aspects for this video. So this new moon in Taurus is about things changing, and we can see that what's happening in the large scale in the world, but also personally for us, that's going to affect us. So things are changing. We have to accept these changes because it's going to happen around us anyway. Okay. And some of us will need to work on our self-acceptance, right? Some self-acceptance work. So just working on ourselves. I'm like, please don't go down, son. No, someone called me and I want enough light, right? So some of us can work on self-acceptance because we're all experiencing different things right now. So how can we use this moon to work on us, work on ourselves, our particular issues? So certain things that I'm going to say will apply to you, and I hope that you're getting that information that you need. Okay, I want to make sure that it's still recording. The sun is in my eye. I'm not going to stop looking into the sun. It has to be a little bit lower before I can actually look at the sun. Okay, so the answers isn't material things. You can't buy this balance that you need. It has to do with working on yourself. And right now, as I'm making this video, it's the 14th of April. So we're in the waning moon. So it's time to get rid of things. It's like that purging, get rid of things. And if there's a donation site that you can drop your things off still, that's still open because only essential buildings are open right now, then dump those off, okay? And donate those things. Now, again, this moon is about things that need to change, right? And you think of Taurus being the bull and being stubborn. So you'll find that a lot of people are stubborn to doing the things that they should be doing, right? And it's going to take a lot of intelligence at this time. And if someone doesn't have that about them, then the transition, no matter who they are, is going to be difficult, okay? Mercury in Aries, the negative aspect of it, and I talked about it in my other videos that I just uploaded before this one, is tense issues during communication. I've noticed that with a lot of people, either just experiencing a tense type of experience from the 10th, 11th, and the 12th, experience that tense energy. And it's still there. It's just stronger on the 10th, 11th, and 12th of April. So the negative part is tense communication, being angry at what someone says, someone expressing their feelings in an angry way or frustration. But we need to receive the message and actually learn rather than focusing on the how we feel about how it was presented. And we might be right in that sense. It could be presented poorly, or it could be an uneducated feeling. Okay, the positive aspect of Mercury in Aries is Mercury's communication. Aries is fire, ruled by Mars, so there's creativity with words. So it's a time for people to get creative and actually use it in a positive way. And it's really good to work on these positive aspects. And sometimes we're going to have to express how we feel, and that's going to be hard for someone else to swallow. Or if we don't even express it out loud, we're going to have to work on letting it go, really. Lilith in Aries is about unseen, fake people, fake love, fake kind of someone disagreeing with you but not saying it to your face. They might say it to someone else. So just make sure that you are doing everything in the right way, because sometimes people won't really share with you their opinion of something if they disagree with it. And be careful who you trust with your actions, your thoughts, and so forth. Lilith in Aries is spontaneity and impulsive action. So that can be good and bad. Just make sure that it's not going to be something that is going to be in a negative result. Okay. This is also a time to replace old thinking with new thinking. Okay, adding new things to your life, your work, whatever it is that's most important to you right now. This will be a successful time for you to change up for your future. Okay, so the standard way of doing things, the old way of doing things, won't work anymore. Okay, you want to be on the cutting edge. You want to be just be open to the positive changes that's going to be happening, and it's not doesn't mean it's going to be easy, but it needs to happen. Another bodily part that they mention is being careful with head injuries, cut scars, and so on. And right now I think that no one wants that. Right, so um that Lilith energy right now. Okay. And I want to flip back and see exactly where that is, because I got rid of that page. So I want to say, I know for certain where. Okay. Yes. So this is all about Aries right now, because we're in Aries season. So I want to focus on the aspects in Aries, which is Mercury, Lilith, and Chiron is still in Aries at this Taurus new moon. Okay, Taurus is the Taurus birthday season right now. It's Taurus. I'm sorry, it's Aries birthday season, but the new moon is going to be in it's going to be Taurus season on the 22nd. Okay, so we're leaving out of that Aries. Okay, and it will be Taurus season on the 22nd, and it's going to have a strong Uranus energy. But um, let's go back to the Mercury in Aries and what's going on in Aries. Okay, because that aspect is still very powerful. Okay, even though we're for the 22nd, we're going to be in the new moon in Taurus. Okay, so some of the effects that we'll feel in Lilith in the fifth house is thoughts of motherhood. Some women will be thinking of motherhood, not sure if they can do it, aspirations of wanting to do it. And if you're a parent, you're still going to have issues with your kids. If you're one of those people that's having issues, even from the 10th of April, there's still going to be problems and issues. Okay. Um, the and if you're not a mother and you're thinking about being a mother in a relationship, there's some kind of rejection in your love relationship, and just the conversation of if you want motherhood. So that could be issues for some people. If you're having any kind of difficulties with someone, there's two kind of techniques you can use. There's a heart chakra love meditation that you can do on yourself. Okay, so look into that. That's going to be a whole 20 minutes. Okay, and then there's a visualization technique, visualizing that person that you're having the difficulty with being happy. That's another kind of heart chakra meditation where they are overcoming their problems. So they're working through whatever the core underlining reason is. Okay, so visualize them overcoming that and smiling. So you can do that too. That's some things that you can do. Now, Chiron in the fifth house is creative work, okay? Not being received well. Now, as an artist or as a creative person, sometimes you do your work and it's not understood by others. So sometimes this work is not for everyone else. It's just for you. And this work is just a warm up for you to do your next work that is going to be successful, or it's going to be more well received. Just right now, the time to put things out is not might not be well received for some. I don't want to make it a definite, because this is astrology, so nothing is really definite. There's different energy techniques that you can do to counteract different alignments and so on. So writing for healing is really good right now with this Mercury in Aries. It's very powerful. So this is a great time to write powerful affirmations. If you are a healer or some form of a shaman or a root worker, this is a great time to really write powerful, protective, prosperity, protective affirmations, and look up affirmations and say, how are they written? And then you write it in that cadence, that flow. Okay, so writing for healing. This is a positive way to use the energies. My typing, I'm like seeing all my errors from my notes. It's like, what the heck? Okay, the fifth house, Leo's house. So let me click back to my chart so I can see it. Okay. So the fifth house is Leo's house, and Aries is in Leo's house. Okay. Mercury, however, is in the sixth house, but it's still in Aries. Just to be clear on that, Lilith is in the fifth house, and Chiron is also in the fifth house. Okay. To add to that, Mercury in the sixth house is really focusing on work, health, and service, like I serve my daily life. So that Mercury, going back to Mercury in Aries in the sixth house, it has to do with health, service, self-improvement work. So with everything that's going on that we're experiencing right now with the flu, this is going to be a lot of people, I have seen it, are being creative in tackling their supplies that they need. I used to be a nursing assistant, so this is kind of like crazy. I grew up in a hospital, volunteering, worked. Okay, so not having the right things that you need, there's people doing ways of cleaning them. All of this stuff is going to be everyday people that are going to work together to really help in their local communities. And if everyone does that, then that's going to be good. And remember that Aries are fighters, right? And Mercury is a communicator. That's ruled by Gemini and Virgo. So this is powerful energy to really tap into. And people are going to naturally do it, even if they're not into astrology. Just the energy is there. Okay, the energy is definitely there. All right. So the fifth house is Leo's house, and having let's talk about what the fifth house means. It's the I serve energy, right? It's the same as the sixth and the fifth house is the I serve, where the sixth house is daily life, but the fifth house is personal creativity. So Leo in the in um, so being in the fifth house, having Aries in the fifth house of Leo, this is like fire and fire. Okay, so having Leo in the fifth house of Aries, that fire and fire is really going to help with the creativity aspects. Okay. All right, so I kind of skipped over Chiron. Did I skip over Chiron? I skipped over Chiron. No. So the fifth house, okay? So the fifth house is I serve energy. It's personal creativity. It's romance. It's kids. It's creativity. It's fun. It's a powerful house that you can stand out. And you're not going to stand out just for yourself. When you're standing out, it's actually going to be helpful and help other people. It's a restart. It's a lot about looking at things and reorganizing things. It's a time for a new look in our situation, really changing up things, okay? And that's going to be really powerful. And there's more changes that's coming up too. That's going to be really powerful. I skipped over Chiron. So Chiron in the fifth house. Chiron in the fifth house is like your creative work. I did that. I'm sorry. I did the Chiron one. Okay. What I didn't say about Chiron is the healing, okay, the meditation healing. And I said that in the last video. So the meditation healing is going to be powerful to send out that energy that you need. Okay, you're sending out the healing energy, and then that's coming back to you as well. So in a meditative sense, we can use the astrology for our healing meditation, where yes, we are healers for ourselves, but we can send out that energy to the world, right? Okay, so Scorpio in the first house. Now, another good aspect to look at is Scorpio in the first house. And the reason why I wanted to do this is looking at Aries house, because I feel like very, very powerful. Hummingbird. Very powerful about looking at the ascendant. Okay, because even though we're in Taurus season, we want to see where that energy shift and that change over is coming, okay, and what it's setting up for. So the Scorpio in the first house, and this is where the fortune is. And right now, people feel the need of needing success and prosperity. So the first house is Aries house. It's the self, right? The I am energy. The first house to tap into on this new moon has Scorpio. Scorpio is a air sign with a water sign with a very fiery personality. Okay, the energy of get it done yourself or teach yourself. Learning how to do things yourself. Always feeling like I really gotta make my own way. I might not receive a lot of help from my parents or so on. So everyone's kind of feeling that I have to help myself mentality. Some are handle it in a bad way, and some are handle it more in a positive way. So that Scorpio energy in the first house is the I am, is tapping into that fiery essence of Aries, and the water emotion, of that water element of pushing that rock until that mountain moves, right? So it's a very strong force. And Scorpio has the Fortuna, right? And it's in the ascendant. So if you're a Scorpio or you are an ascended Scorpio, anywhere in your damn Scorpio, tap into luck, money, tap into the energy of the first house of Scorpio, okay, prosperity, right? Now let's look at just the fifth house. Meaning, right? The fifth house is your social personality. It's the one that people see. It's your ascended one, right? So sometimes people will say, "Oh, you're a Leo, but your ascendant is Scorpio. I thought you were a Scorpio." What a dangerous combination, right? So that fifth house is your rising sign, your birth sign in Scorpio. So you can tap into that energy. If you're doing any manifesting work, you can face east, because that would be the one that's associated with the ascended house, and really tap into the energy of the new moon. Okay, if the Scorpio and the fortune energy, the luck energy, and I'm bringing up now where Jupiter is, because Jupiter is luck and gives gifts. Now Jupiter, now let's switching now to the third house. This is the other aspect I want to look at. So we looked at what was going on where Aries is in the fifth house, because we're coming out of Aries into that Taurus energy now, and we looked over at where the Fortuna was on the chart, because I'm looking at the chart as I'm showing it to you, and I'll add the chart to this video. So I'm looking over to the Fortuna. Now I want to go to the third house, because that's where Jupiter is. Okay, all right. So now Jupiter in the third house of Capricorn. Capricorn had a lot of activity going on in November and December. Jupiter gives gifts. Jupiter is luck. Jupiter is overcoming obstacles, right? It's when you do meditation, if you do meditation, you can do that Jupiter meditation, Kundalini yoga. You can tap into that energy. You can do Jupiter mantras, okay? This full moon is this new moon is on a, what day of the week is it? Wednesday. So you can tap into the energy of Wednesday too. So there's people that are very spiritual that are doing days of the week work, new moon work. Like, it depends on what you want to focus in on, right? The third house is Gemini's house, the house of communication. Boom. Okay. So you can use the power of your words to succeed. You can create your own affirmation again. I mentioned that before in another aspect, right? Use your words to create affirmation for healing, for protection, for prosperity, for the, if it's a world meditation focus of healing, whatever. You can really tap into looking at other affirmations, how they're written, if you don't know the formula of it, and then write your own. Okay, Capricorn is an earth realm energy. So in this real world, the real world issue, being a spiritual being, you need to tap into that. Use that energy to bind something, to bind it into your favor, to turn it. Bind might not be the right word when I was writing it down, but to change that energy into a positive one, right? A group affirmation meditation. Okay, Pluto in Capricorn is the successful personality transformation. Pluto is about the transformation, death, rebirth, right? Really looking at everything and seeing the effect and really shifting in that transformation, right? So some of you might just need to focus on your own personal transformation, your own personal healing, or shifting the way you think and the way you see things, but not in anger, more in, it could be anger at first, but then letting that go, because then that's going to be a block. Okay. In a combination, you can work, you can do that transformation work and work on something else that I mentioned in the transit. And that's based on what your life is going through right now. Is it prosperity work? You need healing, protection. Pluto in the third house, meaning, okay, is a strong change, and a strong change in education. And why is that? Pluto is, you're educated through Pluto by the transition that you make from living to death to rebirth, is the actual knowing, right? So it represents strong change in education, because you're getting informed in the third house of learning. Okay, boom. So I see that happening right now, where, switching to online, and you have to learn how to teach online. I'm experiencing that homeschooling, where I already know how to teach online, but just like the whole process. So it's like a growth in a virtual type of learning, where when you look at Pluto, it's really, the internet is kind of like that rebirth in its sense, where you can't really see it. There's a lot of frequency you can't see, but it exists, right? So Pluto is kind of like this web of, like, you can't see it, but it's in its own realm, right? So it has that. My intuition is that, um, just looking at everything and feeling the energy and the shift, I feel my own prediction or feeling. I hate to use the word prediction, it's kind of like, but feeling is that the medical field will switch, where here you have to do 4 years and then you go into medical school, where I think there's a shift that will take place, that people will just go into the essential trade without wasting the money to have to pay for that. That's just, no need to prolong things. It's looking at things and changing the way that we learn. That's just something I've noticed, just having family in a medical background, right? And myself. So we're going to approach things differently, and there's a call for clearer communication, okay, in the growth of education as a whole, in person and also virtual, okay. And if you watch the New Year's video, I didn't understand why I was saying that, but I was like, a lot of people are going to be staying home in the new year, and I was like, I couldn't understand it. I was like, why would people want to stay home? And I did say that, and I did mention that, I think, in the Taurus video. I just go off from memory. I haven't clicked and looked at it. So anyway, so those are the aspects I want to focus on, is that there's going to be a change in that Pluto third house, okay? Okay, yeah. And the change is past. The change is overdue. It's past due. Okay, this is something that needed to happen a long time ago, but it had to take something huge to make the shift, and it's going to take time for everything to kind of flow in. But just remember that, if the high peak is at 7:25 p.m. and you can actually start your work, your ritual, your focus, your affirmation, your whatever. Well, the affirmation, you want to write it already, but whatever workings that you're doing, you want to start it at least 10 minutes before the high peak, because say that it is a high peak. So your body, when you're physically working out, and the same thing applies for the mind and the mind focus, if you're doing something you want to do and you're focused on it, within 3 minutes is when you hit that high chi in your body. Okay, so it takes 3 minutes to really get a full workup of your emotions, or the physical movement. Okay, so if you're able to do your practice at that time, all right, and your focus, your meditation, whatever work that you're doing. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Please click like. It helps the algorithm for YouTube, and yeah, I put in all the keywords, so help someone see this video, because this is how I use the astrology. I want to apply it to my life, and sometimes someone will say something and you're like, okay, but how can I apply it to me? You know, and I think that's important. Taurus has Uranus in it, and I want to say that for right now in the 7th house. Okay, the 7th house is marriage, and it's marriage and other partnerships, right? It's like my partner. It's the awareness of others. Okay, um, let me see. Okay, so it's Libra's house. Yeah, yes, it's Libra's house. So it's all about balance for this full moon if you want to focus on the Taurus energy, and the Taurus energy is about balance in the home. So it's kind of like this is a great time for people to use the new moon going into the waxing moon, building up to the full moon, to really also empower their strength in their home. Okay, um, in their close relationships and their partnership. It's working to even get your life back in order. There's a push for that where it will be in a safe way, but also moving things forward in the home, and then see where it goes from there. Okay. Um, this is like a time of making things that isn't stable. Okay. It's a time to also overcome any unexpected changes that we're experiencing right now, and we are. Uranus is like, okay, what changed up? Because Uranus doesn't like to be bossed around, so it's like, okay, what changed up? How can I bring this back into my freedom, my organization, everything that Pluto represents? Okay. Um, so it's really, and the Taurus with the Uranus is trying to like warn you of, be ready for any unexpected sudden changes. Okay, and just be aware of lack of consistency, and really try to counteract that. And that's what this new moon energy will bring. But then you're really focusing on using everything in that aspect that I mentioned to really help you get things in balance. Okay, so I hope that that was helpful to everyone. I hope that you guys enjoy the rest of your uh, days leading up to the new moon, and really focus that energy. I think one of the biggest meditations or biggest focus is to send out that either love, creativity, healing energy, and know that someone else is sending that out and you're going to receive it. Because with this Chiron, it's that group effort of healing. It's like, think of a room of Chirons, right? A group of healers. And sure, you can know your stuff, right? And if you kick ego out of the way, right, and not worry about what other people think of you, and just know that you're good, right? But then you're in a room of powerful healers, right? Then it's like a doctor can't really operate on himself, so it's like another doctor can operate on him. So it's really the chain effect of 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 helping each other while you're helping yourself too, in a sense, right? Yep. All right. Well, happy new moon, and I hope that everyone enjoys this time. All right. Peace.